this is Ace, here with my partner Dees, and this is About That Sports Life, where we talk about sports, life, and style. We have plenty to talk about today, so without any further ado, let's get right to it.
All right, special draft day edition of About This Sports Life. We got a special guest today. My man Ace had to take care of a little family business. Godspeed to him. Today we got what I would consider a good friend of mine, almost like a brother from another mother. The world-renowned, the infamous, the man himself, Mr. Al-Lateef Farmer. You probably know him more so from his blogs, World According to Teef. That's www.worldaccording2, Teef.com. What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
I'm all right. Just trying to get through the other side of this draft so that the coverage can get back to what matters at this point, the NBA playoffs.
All right, well, we're going to start there. We're going to give you a little taste. We're going to quick hit that. We're going to start off with all 4 rounds of the playoffs. What you think? Give us some insight.
I think in all the game ones, we saw, the tiredness of the team starting to kick in. With the exception of Miami, everybody else had pretty much played a 7-game series in San Antonio. So the teams that were stretched out, to Game 7s, Oklahoma City, Indiana, and the Nets, they all just took a day off, so to speak. But Game 2 last night, both Oklahoma City and Indiana came back strong.
Okay, so he's trying to poo-poo on my Heat. Full disclosure here, he a Laker fan. He mad Kobe still limping around, and we discussed that earlier. Kobe just Coach Kobe, but you know what? I'm gonna let you get that. I ain't even gonna expound on that because I know at the end of the day it's gonna be the Heat and whoever come out the West. And right now it's kind of a toss-up. We know Portland won't be there. San Antonio going to be getting some rest too this round. But we got 2 series that should carry us. Washington. I still think Indiana coming out of that. And the Clippers OKC, it depends. I'm a prisoner of the moment with that series. It's game to game who I think is going to win. I'll know better after game 4 what's going on because right now that's just where I'm at.
I think that Clippers Thunder series has the potential to be the best series of the entire playoffs. If you just look at the first 2 games and you see Chris Paul's performance in game 1 and then last night Westbrook and Durant, I think we can get that for 4 more games, at least 4 more, maybe even 5. Game 7s have been anticlimactic over the last couple of years, but I think that has the potential to be something special if everybody, checks into play.
I think the Clippers are a deeper and better team at this point. OKC still got that your turn, my turn syndrome, and I don't think that goes away. They were on an emotional high last night, so I'm inclined to want to see a little more. KD finally got his MVP, and he's probably still somewhere crying. So, to keep going on this Clipper thing, Mrs. Sterling, we heard from Shelly Sterling today. She done dusted herself off, climbed out the crypt, and she was ready to talk. She said, hey, what her husband said, regardless of what she did when she was posing as the investigator, checking to see who was living in the apartments, it has nothing to do with her or her family. And they don't have anything to do with that. And the Clippers should remain with Sterling's, and she's getting some attorneys. We knew this is where it was going. And before I let you in, I just want to say, this is why I kind of poo-pooed the whole thing. This is why I wasn't all like lovey-dovey and just patted Adam Silver on the back as the greatest thing since toast. No. It was ceremony. He got bad for business. You come out, you lay the hammer down as hard as you can, and then everyone feels good. But nothing tangible has come out of it yet. You got anything you want to say about that?
I just want to know whose name was on the contract in 1981. When Sterling bought that team, did he sign it along with his wife? If it's just him, then it's his responsibility, and the league, they did the right thing. Now, if it's him and his wife, then we will end up in court for the next 2 years and see what happens from there.
Well, I think we're going to end up in court. I don't know how long, but regardless, we're going to end up in court because they have the situation where maybe she has some rights because they're quote-unquote estranged. Me and my estranged wife not having dinner on the Monday that they banished me before my team player. But anyway, it's going to be a drawn-out fight, and they have the money, the power, and the wealth, and he knows the law.
I say he is a lawyer.
To drag this out, and I think that's why some of the owners have some reservations. And let's just be honest, like Jason Whitlock said in his column, they created a culture that allowed this to fester and grow for years. So we're gonna see, no one, and then we'll get to hear from my boy David Stern too, because he's been hiding.
Yeah,
He's been hiding.
David Stern is definitely gonna have to make an appearance.
Yeah, when we go to court,
especially when we start investigating or unearthing the NBA bylaws from the Board of Governors and finding out what's in there and what the owners are held to, and see from there if they have a legal standing to try to force them to sell the team.
Yeah, and I guess this is a test case to see how bylaws hold up against actual laws and see who has the most leverage.
Definitely.
So we gave you a little taste of basketball, and thank you for coming. We appreciate your time.
Heat in 7.
Of the finals, right?
Of this round.
7. Man, you poo-pooing. Hey, yo, last year the Heat ended Boston. Ace, this for you, Ace. They ended Boston. They got you on another 25 years before another chip run. And this year they're going to retire Kevin Garnett. No points in the last round. And Pierce could go play his last year for Doc Rivers next year and have his LA coming home, going home. But we're going to transition to what it is today. It's football, everything. It's all football all day. The NBA playoffs will have to take a back seat tonight. That's why they got the game coming on at 7. So hopefully you get a good game. Bron, put the pedal on tonight. In that thing early. So by 8 o'clock, when they about to call Jadeveon, we can all switch over.
Hold on.
Jadeveon, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Jadeveon. He corrected us finally after 3 years. It's Jadeveon.
That's what happens when your checkbook get right.
Yeah.
The lawyer done gave him that front money, and probably the South Carolina used with the X.
The Confederate flag?
No, not not the Confederate flag. Under Armour.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he got an Under Armour deal already.
He signed an endorsement deal with Puma yesterday.
Puma, yeah. See, so when your checkbook get right, you start telling people how to pronounce. It'll be Terrell or Terrell. We had those kind of things.
Hakeem.
Yeah. But speaking of checkbooks, Richard Sherman.
Bling.
Richard Sherman, $40 million guaranteed, 57.4 over 4 years. Is anybody worth that? Any non-quarterback worth that?
He's the best cornerback in the game.
Darrell Revis is rolling over in his Patriot jersey, right? He's still not the best corner. He has a great scheme that fits his.
20 interceptions in 4 years.
They throw to him. They don't throw at Darrell.
They learning the hard way.
We're going to see.
It's nowhere to throw. It's nowhere to throw against that team.
He has arguably the 2 best safeties in the game playing with him.
You want to get the ball downfield, you got to throw the ball.
Well, we're going to see because they're going to pick on him this year. They're going to want to make him earn some of that money.
It don't matter. $40 million guaranteed.
That The house is paid for.
Yeah.
The house is paid for.
Everybody out of Compton.
Richard Sherman, please do not cry all during your press conference. That's all I'm going to say.
He sat there and smiled with his bow tie.
That's all I'm going to say. Just smile. You can cry when you talk to your mama, but don't cry about the guy who been your teammate for 2 weeks and passed you a letter calling you MVP. You just crying for crying's sake, man. We ain't going to get off you, KD. You still going to have to win something. Clamor ain't going to never get as loud as it got on the King, but we still going to give you something. Don't think you're going to cry your way out of this. You're down there 30.
And that's the thing with Sherman, too, now. The expectations are much higher. So he's going to have to go out and perform, at twice the level he's been for the last couple of years. But that's a lot of money, and you know what? I say he is worth it. I know, players like Lawrence Taylor and Deion Sanders, they're all probably, excited to see a defensive player getting that type of money now, too. Because, they went through so many years of just trying to break through the payment ceiling or salary ceiling that had been restricted to offensive players for so long that it's good to see a defensive player get paid.
It's good, but he following the Revis playbook. Revis has made $70 million in his career already, and after this Patriot year, $82 million. And every year he'll be a higher gun for about $10, $12 million a year. So yeah, it's good to see defensive players be appreciated and get paid. And I like Richard Sherman. I probably a little more pro Revis because he, could have been the greatest Jet ever if he ain't run out the building. But now he'd be just the greatest paid player ever. I guess that's his goal in life. I ain't mad at him. No, you got to get that money.
Yeah, sun ain't gonna shine forever.
Nah, not at all. Especially off of ACL. Yeah. Now, what's really good? The topic of the day. Usually we spread it out a little bit. Have a couple. We got one because we've been waiting all too long. I actually am euphoric today. I'm doing cartwheels inside my skin just because I'm so happy the NFL draft is finally here. It's been 2 weeks too long. It should have been over. I know more about Johnny Manziel and Jadeveon.
Jadeveon.
Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, he's saying that with the South Carolina. My aunt probably could have helped me with that one, but what you think? I know you more NBA. Draft ain't really your thing. You think it's a waste. You just want to watch the games sometimes.
Too much build up. Too much build up. Too much of an opportunity for you to actually tear down what the young men have worked so hard to develop. You know, Teddy Bridgewater has gone from being a top 3 pick to now they're saying the 2nd round pick. Just because we've had the opportunity to pick them apart for so long now. You know, it's the bouncing back and forth between Clowney and Manziel and Mack, and it's all good theater, but when it all boils down to it, it's who's going to step on the field and perform, and I don't think any of them are going to outperform Clowney, especially Johnny Football.
It's good theater, and it's all NFL all the time. Yeah. They kind of liked the idea initially of going to May after the little Rockettes thing or whatever, because it extended something into the calendar for the NFL in May. They really had nothing in the calendar for May, so it was like, okay, we can lock May down too. Like just stepping all over the NBA. But I happened to like it until the last 2 weeks. Then it just got too much. I'm on edge. My Jets got 12 picks. That's about 5 too many. I hope we package some of them and get a few more earlier. We need a safety, a corner, a tight end, and a receiver.
Maybe
and
the Jets package some of their picks and move up.
I would like to see.
And try to get Sammy Watkins or something.
Nah, I don't want to move up that far. Because I don't know if that's as big a need as just a receiver. Mm-hmm. Because with the pickup of CJ 2K, CJ 1K and a half, whatever we gonna do this year, and already having Chris Ivory and Bilal Powell, we're gonna be a run-heavy team. Right. We probably run 60% of the time. And it's a way of protecting Geno or Vic or I don't know what we're going to do with that. It sounds like a good problem to me. Geno was 8-8. If he can cut down on the turnovers, we're looking like a 10-16. If Mike Veazey go out there, we're looking at 11-5. The expectations go way up. The defensive front was great, 6 in the league, 31 against the pass. So we need some help and some depth. You know, you kind of forced to be a Giants fan these days.
Yeah.
In my mock draft, everybody else doing a mock draft. I on a mock draft, and I also want to buy the Clippers. I'm putting together a group, just like Rick Ross and Puffy and everyone else who doesn't have enough money to do it. You put my name in the hat too. Yeah. But I got y'all taking Aaron Donald. That's not the sexy pick. People got y'all taking Ebron, but I have him slotted for the Jets.
I definitely think Eric Ebron will be a pretty good pick. I think
y'all gotta protect Eli.
The Giants they need a tight end. Just look at the difference without Martellus Bennett in the lineup last year. The Giants need an escape valve for Eli Manning.
It's over for that. It's over for the Giants, and you can tell Mrs. World according to Teeth. It's over for the Giants. It's Jets' turn to
will still win another Super Bowl before the Jets.
But I'm going to give you a little preview. I did my own mock, like I said. Mel Kiper, we agreed on some things. McShay, we had some agreement. But pretty much the first four, I'm going with Jadeveon. Excuse me, brother. I'm sorry. I'm following you on Instagram, too. Get at me. Dees, Aboutdatsportslife. Get at me. Greg Robinson, 2 to the Rams. I don't think it's going to be much movement as people think. Sammy Watkins, 3 to the Jags. The Jags need a whole team. They did some work in free agency on defense. And I'm going Johnny Manziel to Cleveland. At first I slotted a receiver for Cleveland, but if Watkins is going to be gone, you get Johnny Football. And you get a receiver later. They got the 26th pick, and they already have skill position players. They picked up Ben Tate from Houston in the backfield. Josh Gordon, arguably the best receiver in the game, and their tight end is on the come up as well. And probably my first surprise pick, I got Mike Evans going to Raiders. The Raiders never draft on need. They go and get the best, sexiest pick.
Well, right now, the Raiders have a need from the field to the owner's box. So
they just in need.
Yeah, so whatever they can get They just need to go for best available. One thing to watch for with the Rams, Jeff Fisher has never taken an offensive lineman in the first round. So
Interesting.
look for the Rams to possibly get out of that spot, or to go ahead and do something special and go ahead.
Well, they got the 13th pick too. I got Beckham Jr. going, but you know, McShay saying San Fran gonna trade up to 11 for him, and I can't project that. I don't speak to San Fran. I don't know. Should have called your pops.
Yeah, right.
He got the owner's number.
I can't recall a year where Super Bowl contenders have been so active going into a draft and trying to move up. You know, San Francisco, I guess they need to get faster and better on the outside. And just think about it. If they move up into the draft and grab a high-quality receiver, just think about the lineup they would have out there. You have Vernon Davis at the tight end, Anquan Bolden in the slot, Crabtree on one wing, and then, you know, if they move in and get another receiver.
But I'm saying they not hurting now, and their biggest need is the defensive secondary, which is crazy to me. And it's like you look at all that, and they act like they lost like Denver lost. Like they was a tip pass away from being in the Super Bowl and maybe putting the same smackdown on Denver. So I don't understand the panic, but that's the days NFL where everything is urgent and probably we'll be talking about some team that came in 27th place contending for the title next year because that's in the NFL market doesn't matter. That's why they don't have a team in LA, have not had a team in LA for years, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't slow the train. And that's why we're here spending the bulk of our time talking about the NFL draft.
The shield sells itself.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why we can talk about Cleveland and Jacksonville, you know, so much over the last couple of weeks, even though Cleveland and Jacksonville have struggled over the last couple of years. But I think those two teams definitely need to go ahead and make a splash this year as well. You know, Manziel has to go to one of those teams.
I think he's going to Cleveland. Cleveland has to take a chance at some point. It's like they have a tough defense. They have skill position players. Like, you go for Johnny Manziel. You try to hit a home run. First of all, you got 5 picks in the first 85 picks, and you got another pick in the first round. So even down the road a little in the 4th round, if you want to pick up a Logan Thomas or something, a big quarterback from Virginia Tech, and try to hone his skills until such time. But I don't believe in trading for no there's a little backup in Washington they all going crazy over.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, what in the world? What have they seen that I didn't? He got that Steve Kerr disease.
He had a half. He played one great half.
And that was it.
The
last guy did that, got a big contract, left Green Bay, and just was terrible and ended up going back to Green Bay to back up.
And he's still spending money from 08.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think you take Manziel. If nothing else, Cleveland, you're selling out.
Yeah.
Like, you take Manziel and you see.
I would be interested in seeing which teams did not sell out games last year. In
Jacksonville,
NFL.
definitely.
Jacksonville,
they need everything.
So when you add that to the equation, Johnny Manziel makes sense. If for no other reason that he's going to sell you some tickets, I was looking at going to a Giants Jacksonville game this season, and I think I need to buy my tickets now.
In case Johnny falls and they get Johnny,
football.
Yeah. I don't know what you're gonna do the rest of the time in Jacksonville.
I can fly somewhere else.
You better fly in and fly out.
I think it's around my anniversary.
Grand opening, grand closing, man. Don't stick around there, man. Shout out to Jacksonville.
Sorry, Jacksonville.
Man. Yeah.
I know some people down in J-Ville.
Your team will be in LA in 3 years. That's what they building for. Waiting on that new stadium construction out there.
Magic Johnson, where are you?
I don't really see, like, the sexy part is early on and basically whoever your team is. Right. It's like once we see where Johnny goes, I got Blake Bortles, and I think Minnesota cannot not take. You got Cordell Patterson, you got AD in the back all day. You got to get a quarterback there. You had a decent defense. You got to get a quarterback there to give them some stability at that position and make a run before you burn AD out. Like, you owe him that much, so I think they got to try Bortles. They have a stopgap. They picked up I forget who they picked up right now, but they picked up someone, and they still have Ponder. So it's like, you know, they didn't go after Mike Vick. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you're concerned, yeah, but I think Mike Vick probably made the most sense for them.
Yeah, he made the most sense for us too.
You know, Mike Vick made the most sense for Minnesota, but yeah, you know, I know they say meat and potatoes is supposed to be like a real, you know, the the metaphor for it is a real, grindhouse type of thing. But that's what this draft really is. It's meat and potatoes. Like the meat is a more fine cut as far as the top of the draft. But the rest of it is really just building your team and finding, parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth in this draft. And really the first round is sexy, but it's going to be the second and third days that you really build your team. Like, that's what builds Seattle. Fifth round, fourth round, seventh round.
Winning
pick.
day 2 and 3. Yeah.
So if you do well and do your homework, that's why I'm glad we went out and got a Seattle guy. We got Isaac in there, and we putting it together like that. People want us to go out and spend a bunch of money on Rogers Cromartie. Hello. Did you see Rogers Cromartie the year before in Philadelphia? Didn't look so great, did he? So in 1 year, I'm not going to give you $50 million. Thank God he went over to the Giants. Let them spend money. Funny.
They win championships, so.
Oh, man. We always got to get a history lesson. Anytime your team done won a Super Bowl.
It ain't ancient history.
I can't talk because ours is. Shout out to Broadway Joe. Where your fur at, Joe? Where your fur at?
Chinchilla.
Speaking of ancient history, the Cowboys got to do this for my man Ace. Shout out to Ace. I got y'all slotted for Anthony Barr, man. Defensive player, wing guy, not the sexy pick that you want. Johnny Manziel's not falling to 16. Y'all got offense. Y'all need somebody to rush the quarterback. DeMarcus Ware is not coming through them doors. Y'all need an outside edge rusher to get some pressure on the quarterback. That's why I'm thinking the Giants is drafting D lineman, because you're going up against RG3, Romo, and you can say what you want about Nick Foles, but he was 27 and 2 touchdowns and interceptions. So you got to stabilize that defense and really be able to put some pressure on that quarterback, because with Deshaun Jackson running around and RG3 running around, that football team in Washington is going to be giving people fits. So you can't be just trying to outscore them, because that's going to be tough.
The Dallas Cowboys are the most irrelevant team in sports.
They're sexy. The star, the colors, the place
America's
they play
team
in. Yeah,
from the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since they won some Super Bowls, a long time. But, I mean, they're going to be on the conscious end of conversation. Regardless, they don't have to win. That's one team that don't have. They just stay 500 every year, and we'll talk about them for 16, 17 weeks.
And that's why they insinuate themselves into Johnny Manziel talk.
Yeah,
because we hadn't talked about the Cowboys.
Nah. Jerry leaked something out. If Jerry's nothing else, he's a businessman. He's a fine businessman. He let a good show.
And all their coaches who have assistant coaches and coordinators of the passing game and all of that stuff.
So that's pretty much it. I think things gonna go. I can't project for trades and all that. And I got the 49ers taking defensive end. I got a defensive back, Bradley Roby, going to Denver. Y'all need defensive backfield help. I got a receiver going to Kelvin Benjamin, the big boy out of Florida State, one of yours. Y'all got to get somebody, because if not, be the first national championship team with nobody in the first round.
Yeah. Well, we all
Jameis.
We all know.
We know the show was.
Just waiting on next year.
Crab legs and crawfish. Legs and crawfish.
Hey, he's young. He's making mistakes. And I still make mistakes. But
you pay for your crab legs, though.
Yeah. I walk to the front of the store with them. But I don't have people hounding me for autographs and pictures when I'm trying to walk through the store.
But after you, okay. All right,
I'm not going back to the store.
And we're gonna get off the draft on this, because we're gonna transition into not being about this life. And matter of fact, this is the perfect segue. Perfect segue. But Jameis, when you got out the store with the crawfish and crab legs, you wasn't supposed to go back in to get the butter. Somebody could have melted some butter down, and y'all would have been fine. Like, you went back to get the melted butter. That's and then you say you forgot to pay. But I get it. You won the Heisman. They made millions off you. You should be able to have some delicacies. Just keep your nose clean till next year, man, so we don't have to talk about this no more.
That's the thing. In his situation, they're going to keep digging up all these things that he's done.
Anything.
But it's not going to negate the fact that he's going to be the number one prospect next year.
He should be. Yeah, he should be. Teddy Bridgewater was too. Jadeveon.
Yeah.
Once you get so much time, don't. Hey, make sure you come out and ball out.
Exactly. You don't want to be compared to Willie Beeman.
Steaming. That's one of my favorite scenes. Don't see nothing but ghosts on the wall. Yeah. But anyway, not about this life. This is a segment. Let me explain this to you. This is a segment where we talk about things that just not about that life. Sometimes you're about that life, and we'll prop you when you are. But this year is just overall, just athletes getting arrested. Marcellus Darius, defensive lineman, coming off his best season.
He made the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah, you getting caught speeding with whatever you had in paraphernalia. I'm inclined to believe it was the stickiest of the icky. But come on, man. Jameis with the crawfish. Keyshawn breaking glasses. It's just like, really, guys? Like, yo, you had too much money for these type of issues, man. That's not about this life. First of all, those of you in the car, get a driver. Get a driver. Get a driver. There's no need for you driving. You out there drinking and partying and doing whatever. Get a driver. You got one cousin that does not drink, does not partake, does not indulge. You make that the driver. Give him a job. Let him earn his keep. The crawfish, when the girl that's giving you the hookup is not working, you can't get the crawfish that day. It's just that easy. And I'm sure on that whole Florida State campus, people would have pooled some resources together to get you some crawfish.
2 words. Police quotas.
That's what
They are out to get these athletes.
these athletes making it easy for them.
Yeah, we're not smart.
You got.
We're not smart.
And what do you mean by we? No, we're not going. We're not going there. We're not going there. We want to thank you for coming out. You got any projections? Any predictions?
As far as what, the draft?
Draft, the playoffs. You got any
I'll
predictions?
say for the draft, look for the Eagles to make a move. They will have to somehow get in that top 15. I think, I live in Philadelphia, so, since Deshaun Jackson was, unceremoniously dismissed from the team, they have to make a splash. And I think tonight is the night they attempt to make that splash and move up at least to the top 15 and make a trade, even with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, may try to move back. They haven't built through the top of the draft as much as other teams.
Yeah, they don't like to pay.
Yeah, so look for the Eagles to try to move up and go for one of those top flight receivers to try to replace Deshaun Jackson.
Well, I made my predictions already, and it's funny you say the Eagles. I touched that, and then we touch out. I got Brandon Cooks falling to him, a Deshaun Jackson clone with 20 pounds of muscle. Mm-hmm. He's just as fast. He ran a 4.33 at the combine. Except he 190 pounds with Deshaun probably 165. So and Chip Kelly's crazy about him. Mm-hmm. Chip Kelly recruited him. Chip Kelly wants him. That's the player he covets. I see him falling there. I don't think it's going to be as much movement as people think. I think because of the depth, people are going to want to hold on to their second and third round picks. They're not going to want to sacrifice those picks. There may be movement if teams are more inclined to take picks from next season or the season after. Mm-hmm. But as far as giving up second, third, fourth round picks, I think teams realize they can get starters this year with the depth in the draft. So they're going to take their chances. And in the later rounds, you get more upperclassmen because they haven't declared. Usually guys declare because they're going to come out, they're going to be earlier. Mm-hmm. You get more upperclassmen that are more ready to play and contribute. So we'll see.
And people are physically mature enough to play in the league at that case.
Yeah. Big difference from 18 to 21. Anything you want to leave us with?
Heat over the Thunder in 6.
That's the best thing he said today. The most smartest, bestest. We want to thank him for coming out again. This is Dees. I want to thank Al-Lateef Farmer. Check him out online.
Thank you for having me.
www.worldaccordingsToTeef.com. Thank you. That's what it is. Another one in. Ace and Dees, About That Sports Life, where we cover sports life and style. Visit us on the web, AboutDatSportsLife.com, or email us at AboutDatSportsLife@gmail.com. You can also follow us on IG or Twitter at ABTDATSPRTS Life, hashtag ADSL. And if you would like, lastly, you can friend us on Facebook at Ace and Dees in New Jersey. All right, peace.
Beating on my chest while I'm storming across the concrete. Dees on my feet, DMC with a rhyme scheme to eliminate all the fake that I've tried to. Test the skills that will happily oblige you. Aggressive in a session, peasant with a message, destined to lead his belly of the this beast with indigestion. Hold up, I'm not your normal. Never like to conform you. Throw your monkeys a vine if you trying to swing from my scrotum. I'll be funneling Eve while I'm rolling up leaves. Trying to seduce the serpents with propaganda with purpose. With volcanic emerging and tall cannons suburban. Couple bogeys and homies is hungry so they be lurking. Silverbacks with silver straps to feed that hungry cub. Roll the blood and try to understand where we coming from.